Hello, treasured friend. I'm Rebecca from www.rebeccastreasures.com, and today I will show you how to crochet the starting and ending attachment rows for my latest crochet headband patterns, which can easily be adapted to make headbands in any of your favorite crochet stitches too. Supplies you'll need for this tutorial: thread or yarn in any weight or fiber type, a crochet hook to match chosen yarn weight, a large safety pin, and of course the headband centerpiece already having been crocheted. Okay, now we can get started on the headband. So I have the elastic at the ready, the centerpiece, and the safety pin. We're going to start with this elastic and the centerpiece, and we're going to insert the hook right through the center of the centerpiece. Then we're going to draw the elastic hairband through. You want to have a thin elastic. It doesn't matter if it has the metal thingy on it, just make sure it is durable and stretchy. Now we're going to secure a safety pin on the one side so that it doesn't slip off while we're working the other side. Just slip this right through. Then it doesn't matter if you pull on this, it's not going to fall off, and this elastic side is ready when we are ready for it. Now we're ready to start the first attaching row of the headband. So we're going to go ahead and start with a slip knot. I'm tripling up on my thread so you can see better, and I'm also using my F or 3.75mm hook. But you can use any yarn, any hook, any size, any weight, any type of fiber you like. It depends on the look you want to go for your headband. Now we're officially ready to start the attachment row. We have our slip knot and centerpiece at the ready. So now we're ready to single crochet attach to this elastic. The first row will be a row of single crochet, and it's going to go over this elastic. Now, the number of starting single crochets onto the elastic you do will determine the width of your headband. So if you add lots of single crochets, you're going to have a really wide headband, but if you do fewer single crochets, then you're going to have a very narrow headband. Of course, the weight of your yarn is going to affect how wide your headband is too. So if you're using a light thread, you're going to need a lot more stitches to get a wide headband than you would, say, for sport yarn. So to do the first single crochet attach, you're going to insert the hook under the elastic like so, so it's right underneath it. You're going to yarn over, pull it under the elastic and around, so you've got 2 loops on the hook. Then yarn over, pull through both loops, and that completes the very first single crochet attach onto the elastic. Now all you have to do is add an additional number of single crochets. Again, the number you do is totally dependent on which headband pattern you are following. In the case of the shell headband, you need the single crochet attach plus a multiple of 6 stitches for each shell. So for one shell, you'll single crochet 7 because that's 6 plus 1, and then just add 6 stitches more for each shell. If doing the Pebble Baubles headband, you'll need the starting attached single crochet plus a multiple of 2 stitches. So you may like to start off with 15 stitches, more or less, depending on the size you want. You just work until you get to the width you'd like it to be, and if you did a gauge swatch, you're already ahead of the game. Seven single crochets is going to make a narrow headband in sport yarn, but it would be about half the width in thread. Again, it's totally up to you. Then all you have to do when you get to the desired width is chain 1, turn, and you're ready to start whichever headband pattern you are following. I'm going to pause the video here, so go work your headband pattern to the desired length, and we'll meet back here to do the final attachment row. Okay, we're back. I've got a handful of rows done, though it's only long enough to make a wrist bracelet. Yours should be longer, but for the purpose of this tutorial, it's long enough to show you how the final row works. So we've just completed our last row. We've got our chain 1, and now we're going to turn. This final row is the same for all headband patterns. It doesn't matter which stitch you used. I used the shell for this one. So now we're going to lift up this elastic on the other side, and we're going to remove the safety pin. Get it out of the way. Now we've got this free to work the final row where we attach this part of the headband to the elastic. Now to do this, we're going to insert our hook into the first stitch and under the elastic, so you've got the stitch and the elastic on your hook. Work a slip stitch here, yarn over and pull all the way through, then chain 1 to make sure the other side of the elastic gets secured too. The first stitch is attached, and we're going to repeat this. So insert hook into the next stitch and under the elastic, so both are on the hook. We're going to slip stitch and chain 1 to secure. Then all you have to do is repeat this across the row. You'll notice here that this slip stitch and chain 1 creates a sort of V effect, which you will later scrunch up, and whichever row you were working this stitch on, this is the wrong side of the work because this is the ugly side. I'll show you the right side when we finish this row. Again, hook goes into the next stitch, under the elastic, slip stitch, chain 1. Into the stitch, under elastic, slip stitch, chain 1. Into the stitch, under elastic, slip stitch, chain 1, and repeat that into the stitch under the elastic, slip stitch, chain 1, and go into the final stitch now, and under the elastic, slip stitch, chain 1, and then chain 1 again to completely secure work. Scrunch up these stitches together so they're closer, and you'll see this side is more rough around the edge, but when we flip it around so the right side is up, you'll see that this side looks a little more like this side, a little more thicker, but it's a lot more flat than it would be if you were to single crochet attach. All you have to do now is fasten off, weave in your ends, and you have your headband, or in my case, a stylish bracelet, which is kind of fun. Or this could fit a little doll and be a perfect headband for a little doll too. And that's how to work the final attachment row for the headbands. I hope you've enjoyed this crochet tutorial. Be sure to like and subscribe below for more great tutorials and how-to videos. Also, be sure to visit the blog for the full free versions of these headband patterns through December 2016, or purchase the ad-free PDF versions from my shop. Find links to all these patterns in the video description box below. Thank you for tuning in to Rebecca's Treasures.